Hello and welcome back to Fans United Podcast, the show where two clueless geniuses tackle all things Manchester United and the beautiful game. I'm Chris Henning, lifelong Red Devils fan and part-time armchair manager.
And I'm Graham, the apparent voice of reason, despite being mentally ill and very acerbic, which you could just believe is a fancy way of saying miserable, sarcastic sod. I'm still here because I feel guilty for letting Chris down during Season 1. After a 4-year absence, I'm calling it Season 1. So should you. And I also speak the occasional sensible thing when he starts talking about winning the treble every August. If you're looking for insightful football analysis, you've come to the wrong place. If you're here for two Bucky just giving questionable takes on some light emotional trauma, welcome home! Now let's get this podcast started. Well, hello again, and welcome to Fans United Podcast, the show where football gets filtered through sarcasm, sleepless nights, and the occasional existential despair, which I've gone through in droves this week. Basically, this last week, I went through a manic phase where I decided I had all these brilliant ideas for the podcast and started to work on them, and then realized I have no idea what I'm doing. And this is why I should not be allowed to fly solo. This is why Henning needs to be here. He's not allowed to take another holiday, certainly not for 3 blasted weeks. So yes, I'm your host. It's me, it's Graham. Hello, you. Still flying solo, no supervision, emotionally compromised. Certainly compromised in any way, shape or form to talk about United with any sort of optimism, but I'm going to try. Just for you. On today's show, we're going to dive into the Women's Euros quarterfinals. I did say online that I was postponing recording until I had watched them all. I'm glad I did. We'll scan the latest football news, transfer sagas. I will talk about IFAB's latest attempts to confuse everyone. We'll take a quick peek inside Matty's mailbox, and depending on how long that takes, we'll round off and talk about my favourite club competition of all time, the Club World Cup, because we live in the dumbest timeline possible. But very quickly, let me talk about Hong Kong, because I did mention what's going on in Hong Kong. Essentially, one of my bright ideas of the last week is we are now being hosted by Podbean. And Podbean do this wonderful thing where they basically give me all these statistics about who's listening, where they're listening from, how many episodes are being listened to, what is being listened to, blah, 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 all the random stuff that you could possibly want to avoid giving to someone with my sort of brain. And everything seemed fine. And then the other day I logged on and noticed that somebody from Hong Kong had listened to 16 episodes in a row. I don't know why. It's a bit unusual, I would think. Hopefully that person is okay. I do have a theory that someone is trying to steal Henning's and my identities using our voices for AI. So if you hear something that sounds like me and isn't from here, ignore it. I'm not asking for anybody's money yet. Right then. Let's move on to the Women's Euros quarterfinals. Have you been watching it? Because it's been absolutely bonkers. It's been fantastic. First up, Italy edged Norway 2-1 thanks to Cristina Girella's double, the second of which was a last-gasp 90th minute header that sent the Italian fans absolutely berserk. It was brilliant. You've got Norway star striker Ada Hegerberg. Had a chance to level from the spot, but she blazed her penalty wide. It's been a brilliant tournament. Norway definitely shell-shocked by the late goal, and they definitely didn't have the time to respond. Girella, at the age of 35, absolute standout player in that game. And Italy's goalkeeper, what's her name? Giuliani, I think. I can't remember her first name. I apologise. Probably sighed in relief more than once because of the 2 late goals. She was a bit unsteady. Then the next game we had defending champions England, the Lionesses, against Sweden, and good Lord, Sweden raced to a 2-0 lead. Early goals, Blacksteinus, who I've mentioned in the previous podcast, absolute superstar, and I can't pronounce the other lady's name because it's like 2 L's in a row. Asllani. I'm sorry, I don't want to do the Swedish chef, but absolutely punished England's sloppy build-up. Lioness defender Carter has not had a good tournament. That is no excuse for what's happened since. Absolutely disgraceful what she's having to deal with. But the brilliant thing about the England Lionesses is no matter what's happened, and this tournament seems to really be hammering that home, they refuse to give up. Wiegmann's substitutions flipped the game completely on his head. Lucy Bronze heading one back, and teenager Michelle Aguiman grabbed the equaliser, making it 2-2, sending us into extra time. England winning a shootout 3-2, an absolute nail-biter of a penalty shootout. Also one of the worst penalty shootouts I've ever seen. I think 14 penalties were taken. I mean, good grief. Sweden's goalie saving 4 penalties, which I believe was a tournament record, but then she skied her own spot kick, ending up on the losing side. Hannah Hampton, who, again, another goalkeeper with a brilliant story. She was a striker before switching to goalkeeper, and because of Mary Earp's retirement, sudden retirement, if you will, thrust into the number 1 spot. She saved 2 during the shootout. So, again, brilliant that penalty shootouts exist. They're nail-biters when you're supporting one of the sides, but if you're not supporting any of the sides, it's the greatest invention that Northern Ireland ever came up with. Google it. So it was absolutely messy, it was chaotic, stressful, to be honest. I know Wiegmann found it stressful. I think she was quoted saying it's one of the most stressful games she's ever watched. But what a brilliant. And then you go to Spain, hosting Switzerland. Now, I'd said before how Spain have been playing some of the most beautiful football, but they were absolutely frustrated by the Swiss for a good 60 minutes. But the game was not without its drama. Spain missing 2 penalties in the game. One rolling hers wide, another blazed over. But 66th minute, lovely back heel from Bonmati set up Castillo, and Claudia Pina scoring with 5 minutes later to make it completely safe. Now, I have to be honest, the Swiss have gone from a nation that was going to games with very little support, and hopefully it has this tournament and how they bravely hung on in this tournament and got through to the quarters helps their game reach another level. I think this was Spain's first ever knockout win in the Euros, which absolutely shocked me when I saw that. Just checking. Hold on. Yes, it is. Oh, I mean, honestly, first ever knockout win in the Women's Euros. They're the world champions. Sorry, I've just knocked something over. Oh, well. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, their quality of football, their possession, their creativity, absolutely top class. I don't know how anyone's going to beat that Spanish side, to be honest. They've got so many weapons on that team. And that's just the first 11. The bench is replete with talent. So it's going to be fascinating. And then, of course, the final game, which was unbelievable. France and Germany. 1-1 after extra time and going to penalties. But that's not even the story of the game. The story of the game is how Germany went down to 10 men, a pull of the hair, a penalty. Honestly, I mean, just an incredible game. France going ahead, and then brilliant corner, Germany going in. But the exceptional thing was Anne-Catherine Berger, who is their goalkeeper. Now, this lady has combated 2 bouts of thyroid cancer. And she's had a lot of criticism during this tournament and even before the tournament. My God, the saves that she was making, and the save that she pulled off from a deflection during extra time to keep Germany in it was absolutely sensational. Probably one of the best saves I have seen in football in a long, long time. their resilience with 10 women was absolutely remarkable. Obviously shifting into a more compact block after going down a player, but they stayed in the game despite France's domination of possession. They had 2 goals ruled out for offside. They couldn't break down that German defence at all, and the penalty shootout, just another nail-biter. And Nusken, who had missed a penalty for Germany in regulation time, if you will, putting in the decisive penalty for 6-5. Again, this has just been a brilliant advertisement for the quality of the women's game. I hope some of you have been convinced to watch it, because I know I've been talking about it for a while. I love watching women's football. I love watching any football, to be honest, except for the Club World Cup, but we'll not talk about it yet. So, Italy and Germany, England, Spain in the semis. I mean, the games have been high-paced, they've been tactical, they've been emotionally charged, comebacks, keepers have been shining in this tournament. So all that talk about, oh, well, I don't like the women's game, goalkeepers are terrible, aren't they? Well, this tournament is proving that wrong. So get on it if you have been resisting it. We're at the semi-finals. You've only got 3 games max to watch in this tournament now, so there's no excuse, okay? No excuse. Get on it. Shall we move on? I think that's a good place to move on, don't you? Should we talk about other news? Mini break's over. Everyone's now back pre-season. Transfer window is replete with rumours and gossip and articles saying someone has made their true feelings known. Click here. I don't click here. But our focus at United has been mostly about one man who we've been negotiating for about 6 weeks, and we finally got him over the line. Rumour is that the medical has been passed. We will be announcing him fairly shortly. I know we'll be, I would say, on the Tuesday before we fly out to America, which I believe is the Wednesday. So that's one positive bit of news, and depending on where you stand on this, another bit of positive news. Marcus Rashford, part of the bomb squad, is now away to Barcelona. Loan deal for the season. They pay the entirety of his wages, and there's a £30 million possible buy fee at the end. Of course, it's Barcelona. We know this club is not exactly reliable when it comes to money matters, so we'll probably have to do this again next summer. Hopefully not, but I will just say this about Marcus Rashford. He's one of us. He's come from the academy. He's played for so many seasons. He's given us some wonderful moments. And it's sad that the relationship between the club and the player has soured. It's got to a point where a break has to happen. And lots of reasons for that. You could say there's lots of blame on both sides. You could say there's no real blame to share. It's just one of those things. It's sad. And it's reality. A clean break is what's needed. And we kind of don't have that, but we'll not talk about it. He's away on loan. He's playing for Barcelona now. Good luck for the season. And hopefully he plays well and Barcelona find another lever to pull so that they can afford him. The rest of the bomb squad, however, is still there. Pre-season is now underway, and we played against Leeds in Stockholm. And it was a draw. And the sheer amount of people that went absolutely apoplectic because nothing has changed, apparently. Good grief. What do you want? Yes, we lacked pace, especially midfield. I think Amorim admitted that. But it's early days in pre-season. Other teams have played their first games of pre-season. Newcastle lost 4-0 to somebody. I think it was Celtic, wasn't it? Aston Villa lost to Aston Rostock, I think. No one talks about them because, well, they don't drive as much clicks as we do. So, let's talk about how we've been terrible. It's fine, okay? Cunha actually started the game. I think he looked all right. He seemed to be up to speed of the game. I think there's a couple of moments where he wasn't too sure whether to press or whether to sit back, but that will come. I'm not too concerned. I'm certainly not too concerned about pre-season. Remember a couple of years ago when we had a brilliant pre-season and then started the game in the Premier League with a defeat and then followed it up with another defeat? and then followed that defeat up with a 70-odd million pound purchase of Anthony. So I'm not too concerned. You shouldn't be either. Where do we go now? Shall we talk about Arsenal? Let's talk about Arsenal. They're still figuring out what to do about Gyökeres. I don't understand what's taking them so long. To be honest, from what I understand, it's about the bonuses and the structure of that. They're quibbling over a couple of million. I'm not too sure. They need a striker. He wants to come to them. Sporting have their price. They've been able to find, 40-odd million for Ndoye from Chelsea, who they've purchased, another winger. I would say that's actually a pretty good signing. He's had a good season last year, broke into the England squad setup, and clearly someone who's going to take a lot of the load from Saka, which I think they need. Saka got a few injuries last season, and the noticeable dip in their form when Saka wasn't playing. So having someone to be able to take some load off from Saka is a good thing. And he can play both wings. So Martinelli can get a break. And I think Ndoye is better than Martinelli. That's just my opinion. Maybe you feel that's wrong. Maybe you're a Chelsea fan who's thinking, we're glad to be rid of him. Maybe you're an Arsenal fan thinking, we're buying yet another Chelsea reject. Let me know. We've got a mailbox named after Matty. But we're going to refrain from talking about gossip because there's so much of it. Can I talk very briefly about IFAB? They've confirmed some rule changes. Now, we know about the rule changes that have happened with the 8-second rule, and if goalkeepers hold on to the ball for that length of time, it becomes a corner. But have you heard about they're going to... It's not official yet. It's just been proposed. But they're talking about banning penalty rebounds. So if you save a penalty, it's a dead ball immediately. No tap-ins. I think that's ridiculous. Honestly, I really don't get that. I don't understand what that serves, how that improves the game. Mind-blowing. I hope it doesn't become official, but from what I'm reading in the press, more than likely will be. And hopefully will be overturned in about a year's time. But these are all ideas that are going to come into play for the next World Cup. That's the idea behind these rule changes. The other one, I think, is letting VAR check second yellows, so checking red cards, essentially, which no, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. VAR was brought in to oversee clear and obvious errors, absolute howlers. And now we are letting VAR slowly but surely re-referee every single moment in a game. And I think they're also talking about allowing VAR to check for contentious corners. No, I'm sorry, just stop. We need to be rolling back VAR, not giving VAR more things to do. Because we've already seen it's not the technology's fault. The technology is there, but it's the referees and the referees' assistants who are constantly using it to referee the games for them. It gives them an out, and I don't know. It's making the game very unwatchable at times, and I think we really do need to figure out how to get the fans' view on VAR. And hopefully with a football regulator, which they're still talking about coming into power at some point to oversee football, hopefully a regulator can do something about allowing fans an actual voice in how they want the game to be presented to them. And by that I mean not fancy little graphics, I'm talking about the involvement of VAR, and it's just awful. Stop giving the referee more excuses to stall the game to check whether he is actually right or not. Because they are using it as a crutch. It's I don't know. I'm furious about it. Maybe you're furious about it. Maybe you think VAR should have more power. Who knows? We've got a fantastic thing, part of this show, actually, that allows you to give us your thoughts as I segue into Matty's mailbox. The segment that nobody writes into. And if they do, I don't have access to it because it's on the emails. seriously, I scoured our emails inbox and found absolutely nothing. Crickets, no emails. I don't actually have the access to Twitter, I don't think. We've had no carrier pigeons. If anyone's texting Henning, he's not answering because he's in America. So we don't have anything. No letters, nothing from Beyonce. No Nigerian princes wanted to give me money. No fans asking about what awful replica kits from the 90s do I remember. Just nothing. So, because we've no real mail, it means we're free to kind of make fun of ourselves, and by all accounts, Matty's mailbox and this entire segment has become the saddest thing since United's last season. Ooh, that's rough. Ouch. But let's just wrap it up, shall we? How should we wrap it up? Oh, that's right. I'd want to talk about the craziness of the Club Trump Cup, because that's what it became. Donald Trump was at the final. And he's part of the Chelsea setup now. I had to laugh because the Chelsea social medias had to basically cut him out of the photos, which meant Cole Palmer was not in any of the photos, and yet he's the star player. He's one of the reasons that they won their game, but certainly one of the biggest reasons. So, yeah, Donald Trump just wanted to be part of the action. Reece James basically looking lost, Cole Palmer going, what the Yep, absolutely, Cole, I completely agree. And then, of course, we find out that the brand shiny new trophy was in fact a brand shiny new trophy because Donald Trump is keeping the original, the actual trophy. So a replica was given to Chelsea for Chelsea to lift because I think his exact quote, I've got his exact quotes here. FIFA said, you can have it forever in the Oval Office. We're making a new one. So there, he can keep it forever. I don't know if anyone saw, there was social media pictures of cameras catching him pocketing one of the winners' medals, and apparently it turns out it was Reece James's winners' medal. Someone had to go and get another one to give to Reece James. I mean, honestly, the man's a crook. Well, we know he's a crook, but I should really be careful because I found out that someone in America listened to an episode, and I'm assuming that it's because Henning's in America. They're checking to see if Henning should be allowed there. Thankfully for Henning, he doesn't get involved in politics on the show. I'm the one that can't keep my mouth shut. But I'm not going to America anytime soon. So, yay! I'm not going anywhere. I'm renovating a house. It's like the Money Pit, only it's not that funny. Mind you, neither was the Money Pit. Let's just move on, because I don't want Tom Hanks being annoyed with me. So, there we go. Trump's Art of the Steal. So what a fantastic tournament it was that no one watched. I don't know. You know my thoughts on it. I saw the highlights of the final because I was watching the Lionesses game instead. Much more interested in that. But yeah, the fact that Chelsea are now the best club in the world, according to the gold little sticker that they have on their shirt for the next 4 years, all the news was about Trump boasting about keeping the trophy, because he can keep it forever, which is on record. Yes, he did pocket a medal on the podium, which is Reece James's. I mean, it's basically a sports quiz question in the future, isn't it? I don't get it. We are living in the dumbest timeline. I mean, nothing about that win it became about Chelsea. It's madness. And you've got to wonder, was anyone actually surprised? I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. And now, of course, they have, if anything, I think what has helped for the next World Cup is they've realised that the uncovered stadiums for certain times, just a no-go. So I think the earlier kickoffs will be in covered or roofed stadiums to protect the players and the fans, which is brilliant. But the fact that they've had to have this tournament to figure that out is a bit weird. I mean, they should already know that. But anyway, so next year will be fantastic when he hands out the trophy, won't it? Let's just call time, because I'm sure you've listened to me enough. I mean, let's be honest. I'm surprised anyone's listening to me this long. I'm surprised I've talked this long. So we are going to wrap up the roller coaster that is this show. We've had Euros drama, transfer chaos, pre-season chaos, and an American president stealing the show, and a medal. So I'm going to take some aspirin and a strong drink of coffee. After all this excitement, thank you for tuning in to Fans United. I've been Graham. I'm trying to make sense of this beautiful game, the lunatics that are involved. So join us next time for more footballing banter. I think I have miscalculated. I think I have one more solo show before Henning returns. Yes, like you, I am missing Henning. I'm missing someone to basically bounce stuff off or disagree with. And thank you. Come back next time. More football banter, more heartbreak, more nonsense, more pre-season fun. Keep the faith, or whatever you have. Until then, cheer loudly, question everything, and above all, remember, the real trophy is the friends we made along the way. And don't steal anyone's stuff. Good night, adieu, and I'll see you next time.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Fans United Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all socials and leave us a 5-star review, unless you're a Liverpool fan.
And remember, please, football is a game of opinions. Ours just happen to be funnier than yours. So see you next time.
Right now, it's